following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
This is Talkin Cowboys. Streaming live from Dallas Cowboys training camp in Oxnard, California.
Handoff, Elliott plowing to the goal line. Barry, sacked by Lawrence. Prescott keeps it, and he bangs it in for the touchdown.
Here are Mickey Spagnola, Brian Broaddus, Rob Phillips, and Bill Jones.
And welcome into Talkin Cowboys, our final show from Oxnard, California. Rob Phillips, Brian Broaddus, a festive Mickey Spagnola.
I like that look.
I love this look.
I love that look.
On the eve of the Cowboys' journey to Hawaii.
Are these our J.C. Penney shirts?
I believe they are, yes.
Go get you one of those.
Whatever
Yeah.
Shannon got for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sponsors ours. Go get you one of those.
I bet Bill Jones jealous of us.
Yeah.
It's a great look, Mick. You
I
got
like
the
that.
tan going, too.
Yeah.
You know?
do. You like you own your own dive shop.
It's warm.
Mickey's Dive Shop.
It's warmer this morning, yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need long sleeves, actually.
Yeah. Good for you.
Well, it's
Dive shop.
Mickey's Dive Shop. I tell you, Mickey's Bar would probably be even better.
A little surfing going on.
Mickey serving conch chowder,
I like it.
ice cold beer.
Have you ever surfed?
Maybe have a WGN on. No, I've never surfed. Mickey, you
Ever
kidding?
surf?
No.
They'd
Yeah.
harpoon me out
Me,
there.
me neither. Snorkel, I'll do that.
I don't
you
have
guys
that.
got a day off on Friday. You could try it
Can
out.
I tell you a real quick little snorkeling story about Hawaii with
Do
me?
it.
You know, size 14 shoes. So I'm so worried. We're over this coral bed. It's like they're telling me it's like 1,000,000 years old, one of those things. And I was so worried about my flippers like hitting being too long
the bottom.
and hitting the coral, breaking off pieces. I was floating around. I was like, oh, please don't touch the coral. Please don't touch the coral. I was worried that my fin was going to knock some of it off the.
You did okay.
I did all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snorkeling's the best.
It is great.
I don't think I would dive, but I can snorkel.
How about it?
Well, it's sad leaving here every year because the weather's so great. Everybody's so hospitable to us
A lot of good work done
here in
though
Oxnard. A
Yeah.
lot of good work.
Jason Garrett talked about that yesterday.
Yeah.
Selfish. Say he was selfish about that. I want teams coming to me.
And
For
if you-
scrimmages
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
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 And
Rams
if you,
come out here
and if you
before.
noticed the intensity in practice, I thought the assistant coaches did a good job of ramping it up, like
sure did.
making sure these players didn't think, okay, this is over with,
Right.
we're leaving. I thought these last 2 days of practice were
Been really
really
good.
good. And you can see the assistant coaches were making an effort to like, okay, we're not letting up here. We
Right.
still got work to do.
Right.
And they were very vocal, I thought, trying to inspire the guys. So that, yeah, and even the little byplay in the afternoon practice between
Right.
Richard and Dak Prescott, I'm not sure that just happened organically.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they had it in their mind. Okay, we got to jack everybody up.
Yeah. I think it was really funny on the compete period at the very end.
Right.
Where where it was down to the 3 plays, offense scored like on the first play, and Mark Colombo yelled at the defense, 2 extra point, and like all those defensive coaches were all sitting there. And Mark was like, 2 field goal, and he was laughing. He was kind of high fiving, but the defense came back. So nice job on
I
that.
thought when he yelled that they were going to go for a 2-point.
No,
conversion.
he was
And
rubbing
I
it
know
in.
he was.
He was rubbing it in.
And by the way, the head coach said had they scored that touchdown at the end of the game on Saturday, they were going for 2
they were
to tie
going for 2.
it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I think I read on the transcript that Kyle Shanahan would have really been disappointed in that decision.
Yeah, he would have.
Well, good. Maybe the Cowboys were disappointed he didn't play any of his players.
Yeah, that's okay.
Fair enough.
Let's judge our players.
It's preseason. That's right. What does Brian always say to Woody Woo and everybody out there in Periscope? Only worry about what you can control.
That's
right.
right.
That's
So
right.
Don't worry about
Good morning,
it, Kyle.
Woody Woo, by the way.
Yeah.
Woody Woo and everybody on Periscope.
Good
Come
morning.
at us, yeah.
After-
Questions, whatever you
After
have.
getting to the championship game, he shouldn't complain about anything.
Fair enough. All right. So speaking of,
We're not letting up either.
I don't know where that came
our
from. But
intensity
that
is
was all right. It's good.
our
Yeah, all right.
intensity
We're
is
good.
still up.
We're good.
all right, contract talk. Jerry met with the media. He's only done it a handful of times since he's been out here, about 10, 12 minutes, mostly about Dak, Zeke, and Amari.
Yeah.
What did you take from that discussion after practice?
I don't think anything's changed. I don't think they feel like their backs are against the wall. And it kind of furthered what he said on the pregame show when I asked him about the contracts, and I specifically said those 3, and he said, well, all I know is I'm working on 6 of them.
Right.
So he kind of reiterated the deal about we've got to sign a lot of guys, and the market doesn't mean anything to me. What means to me is getting my guys signed as a team. And I think he used the analogy of DeMarcus Ware.
Yeah, I was going to ask you guys about that, if you had a thought about how he explained that to you, and what was the translation, the Jerry whisper on that there.
Well, I mean, he started it off with saying, I don't have the responsibility of dealing with the market. I got to realize I could let a DeMarcus Ware out of here because I don't have enough money because I paid it to many others.
There you go.
And so that's his analogy of I give it all to these guys, then the other guys that I'm trying to sign ain't going to get done. And he raised the possibility of one of those other guys getting done before the start of the season.
I have a feeling Rob's going to make quizzes on that a little bit here.
Any thoughts on who that might be? I mean, we threw out a few names in our recap yesterday on the website. Guys that are either restricted or unrestricted after this season currently who are not in the quote-unquote big 3
like
on the roster.
Jalen Smith.
There's one.
Lale Collins.
Yep.
Malik Collins.
Yeah.
Anthony Brown.
Byron Jones.
Byron Jones. Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I mean, he kind of threw out a little mystery there. You know, could there be a 4th guy that they're – because one thing he said throughout the offseason was there's no pecking order here. You know, there's a lot of guys on this team we like. If you know, we're not waiting to get one deal done to go get another done.
I've had guys tell me who do these contracts and stuff, you know, they said, listen, there is no order, Rob. You made the exact point there. There is no order. If you're one of those guys that's coming in and willing to deal and make a deal and give us an offer, and we'll make a counter offer, and if you're willing to work with us, we'll sign you. I don't think it's like the Cap guys have been sitting here the whole time and just, okay, let's twiddle our thumbs and let's watch practice and let's not do anything. I mean, their door is open for business. Now, like Mickey would tell you, you got to be realistic with me here. Don't live in fantasy land. Mm-hmm. You know, live in reality of what like Jerry Jones is talking about. Jerry Jones does not want to go through losing another DeMarcus Ware because he overpaid somebody else. That is a fact. And that is a fact that now, you know, we talk about the things that the Cowboys over the years have done. They developed their mantra has been, if you want to say, draft, sign our own. Where when I was here, it was maybe draft well, but overpay for other people's talent. That's now in the past. Now they're moving to, okay, let's make sure that we can take care of all our players and still keep our team together without wrecking our salary cap and us having to lose players.
So that's a really salient example, D. Ware. Like
that's a good example.
I don't think I was here when it happened. Was that the issue?
Although he was dealing with a lot of injuries at the time.
Yeah.
Back, the shoulder, the neck.
And they decided that where his base salary was
was
a little bit high for their blood, how rich it was. Mm-hmm. And so they decided to move on, and I think it was that philosophy, let's cut a guy too soon than waiting too late and getting a broken down player. And he had injuries at that time, but, you know, he went on and had another year or two that was pretty good in Denver. So, yeah, I think the other part of it was that, you know, they thought he was physically breaking down, and then if they paid him that money, it might not have been available because of you know, the Tony Romo contract, the Des Bryant contract coming up. So there was a lot of factors in there. I thought the interesting thing is, you know, he said, really, he goes, you know, when people said, are you getting worried? Is nothing's getting done? And he goes, he basically said there's no leverage for either side until the season starts, meaning Zeke and the Cowboys. He said because the leverage is, well, he could miss games and we won't have them. But our leverage is he can lose paychecks.
Game checks.
And it's
six-figure game checks.
$224,000 worth of game checks each week. So that's the leverage, and now you're sitting there going, I don't know if that they're playing chicken, but that's the leverage for each side. So he seems to think, and Jason seems to think, that they still have a really good relationship with Ezekiel Elliott.
Absolutely.
So, the deal is dealing with the agent and what the agent's trying to get. And I guess at some point the player can step up and say, sort of like DeMarcus Lawrence. Let's get this done.
You and Rob have talked about that. Rob has talked about that before, that in order to get this deal done, it maybe takes Stephen Jones getting on the phone with Ezekiel and saying, listen, this is what I can do for you. Can you help me here? Because I'm trying to keep a team around you. I'm trying to give you one of the best top 5 offensive lines in the NFL. I'm trying to give you a quarterback that we feel like is on the rise. I'm trying to give you a wide receiver that's one of the top 5 in the National Football League as well. If you can help me a little bit on this, we can work together here. And I think Zeke could be reasonable. I think Zeke's a prideful guy though too. He knows where this team. I mean, if Zeke was in camp and it was Amari Cooper holding out, I'm sure Stephen Jones would have the same thing. Hey, I'm giving you a top 5 running back. I'm giving you a quarterback on the rise. I'm giving you, trying to keep players around you so you're not getting beat up and losing football games every week.
Deadlines do make deals. DeMarcus Lawrence's deadline, to a certain extent, was I need to get this shoulder fixed. Yeah. And if I don't get it fixed in the spring, then I'm jeopardizing my season, or at least part of it. Right. And we just spoke about Zeke's and the Cowboys' kind of artificial deadlines. I don't even know if they're artificial. It's the fact that there's games coming up that matter, that will pay Zeke a lot of money per week, and the Cowboys and Zeke are trying to go win a Super Bowl this year.
And see, and you got to remember that those base salaries, they exist even though you get an extension. It's not like you take off the base salaries for this year and you take away the base salary he's guaranteed for next year. The extension starts after 2020. So when you figure out the package, like I've been trying to explain to folks, so when a player gets an extension, he's on the last year, that base salary for this year still counts.
But it's next year that it starts.
And then it starts next year, so you have to factor in, if it's a 5-year deal, okay, what's he getting over 6 years? Right? What's he getting over 6 years?
You have to include this current year with the other years.
Which devalues the average. If it's $20 million, all of a sudden now it's $15 million.
The question from Periscope, they want to know, okay, if Zeke does sign before Dak, does that affect Dak's negotiations? Are you concerning it two separate things? Are you looking at this as all different types of things? I'd like to talk about money.
Does it affect how much they can pay him, or does it affect what they want to give him?
I think that the question is, how does that affect the negotiations for Dak?
I would imagine it might speed them up, but
it takes money out of the pie.
But they've prepared for all 3 of these top guys to
be
paid.
Together. Yeah,
right. Yeah. Now, I mean, maybe there's got to be some wiggle room at some point, because you can't just say this is what we'll pay. Well, I guess you could just say this is what we'll pay, and that's it. But
if I overpay Rob, then does that mean I got to underpay you?
Yeah, that's the question. I think I
don't think that's the way it's going to work.
Okay, fair enough.
I think each guy probably knows what they need to have. And the interesting thing I just thought of, you mentioned DeMarcus Lawrence and they got together. Could that have happened a month earlier?
Yeah.
Like, what did it take to get to that point? Because he got what seemed like a fair contract.
Right.
To me, I don't know, what he thinks, and it doesn't look like.
Well, obviously,
he
felt like obviously feels like it was a fair deal to him because he signed it.
And what got it done? Yeah. He walked in the room and talked.
You've been saying that all along,
right?
You have it. Yeah.
And I know this for a fact that if you're, and it's not just contracts, if you're negotiating a business deal with Jerry, if you're walking in the room, you better be prepared to get signed or sign the deal, because he will talk you into it.
Yeah,
face to face.
That's famous for when free agents come on official visits.
Yeah,
it's like if they're interested, and if they're coming in, obviously there's mutual interest. Usually the guy's not leaving without a deal, or if he does, it's no more than 24 hours.
It's like I don't know if Pepsi walks in the room. Better be ready to do a deal.
Yeah,
because he is that good and engaging when he's in a negotiation.
I don't think the $40 million report came up, but Jerry was asked about Dak reportedly turning down $30 million, and this is what he said: "You don't have any financial way of knowing any way of knowing where you are financially until a deal is done financially. And so you have no idea. It takes two. Both of us haven't said yes at the same time. He also reiterated he's not focused on what the market is.
Right.
And because there's a lot of talk about, well, there's top 5 offers, for these guys at their respective positions. And he just went on to say, it's if I'm listening to advice, it's how to get all these top players under the cap, and so I don't have the responsibility of dealing with the market. It's the cap. Yeah. It's under one roof. That's continues to be the line from Jerry and Steven. We've got to be able to field 1 through 53 long term, a team that can compete.
See, and from Dak's standpoint, he knows even if they don't get an extension this year, his guaranteed contract under the franchise tag next year is going to be somewhere close to $30 million.
That's true.
Right? That's what you're going to get.
True.
And it's guaranteed. Now, do you want some of that money early? Do you not want it all from in front, or do you want to get it week by week? And that's the chance you take. And I don't know. I'm not a financial expert to know. Again, I would imagine his signing bonus is somewhere, if you look at all the other signing bonuses that have been out there, they're not as high as they've been previously. So the signing bonus is probably $20 to $30 million, something like that. Do you want it all now, or do you want to work for it next year under the franchise tag?
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
The other thing Jerry said was he's gotten no indication from each camp that they wouldn't be willing to negotiate into the season if it came to that. So at this point, things can change, but that's still a possibility, assuming or if these deals don't get done in the next few weeks.
That's in the book of sports writing questions.
Yeah.
Will you negotiate during the season? If somebody was going to give you and offered you $30 million signing bonus in the season, you're going, nope.
But Mick,
doing this.
That's a fair question. We discussed it yesterday, and Zach Martin said a couple years ago, I just want to focus on the season.
That's fine, but what if it didn't get done and they gave him the deal he wanted? He was going to go, no, we ain't doing this. That wasn't going to happen.
It's a fair question to ask.
It's a fair question. Yeah. That's like I said. It's in the book, the questions of sports writing.
Okay.
You got to ask. That's a standard question.
All right.
Didn't mean to bring the house down,
I'm just looking.
It's the absolute truth.
I'm just trying to take us off.
Media.
I'm trying to take off contract question. I'm trying to take us away from contract.
Well, let's take a break and then move on to something else.
He talked about a lot of other things.
That's
that
what we need to get into.
Dive into.
Let's take our first break. When we come back, we'll talk about more from Jerry, and I've got some questions for you guys. Kind of a larger view of training camp as we wrap up with 2 practices left in Oxnard and our final show today. That's next.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you want the most interesting, up-to-the-minute Dallas Cowboys news straight from the Star in Frisco? How about exclusive and on command? That's right, news and nuggets you can't find anywhere else. With our exclusive Cowboys content on Alexa, you can have all the answers, secrets, stories, and more. What's Stephen Jones thinking during a game? What's Joe Looney's favorite pregame meal? We take your questions to Cowboys players and coaches, and you can hear the answers directly back to you. Just say, Alexa, open Dallas Cowboys.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
A man's Stetson doesn't just protect him from life's elements. It projects an unstoppable and legendary spirit, just like the men wearing silver and navy on the field every Sunday. Since 1865, Stetson hats are American-made with pride right here in Texas. They are still the official crown of all self-respecting Cowboys. And Stetson is proud to be on the field with America's team. Find Stetson hats in the Pro Shop or at Stetson.com today.
Dr. Pepper is the one you crave. But how do you explain that craving? Imagine being shipwrecked on a desert island, alone. Glass-like curls of surf pound the shore with Dr. Pepper-colored waves. Surrounded by desire, but you can't drink it because it's the ocean, fish living there. The only thing you want is Dr. Pepper, and you can't have it.
Now that is a Dr. Pepper craving. Dr. Pepper, the one you crave.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
And don't miss your chance to see the Cowboys live at AT&T Stadium this season. You won't want to miss these exciting matchups when the Cowboys and Giants and Eagles, Packers, Rams face off in Arlington. Get your tickets now at DallasCowboys.com. Welcome back to Oxnard, segment 2 of our final show. As we got to pack our stuff up, right?
Yeah.
Get rolling.
Got to have it there tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
You could put it there tonight if you want it to get wet.
Well, no, it's going on the truck tonight.
No, tomorrow.
6 to 10.
Yeah.
I just talked to Mike McCord, and he said.
Oh, so you get it there at 6 in the morning?
They're not leaving until 3 tomorrow.
Oh, so you could, okay.
Put it out there
in
tonight.
the morning.
The way that fog's been coming in, you're going to have a wet
It's had
suitcase.
haze the last 2 nights out here. It's been kind of.
Has it been purple?
Nope.
No.
Okay.
Hazy, though.
Hazy,
foggy. All right, what's Periscope cooking like, Brian? What you got?
Well, they're asking questions about really they're interested. They appreciate the fact that we did have a little contract talk there, but they're wondering though about the situation when John V. Johnson and Guyton. They're looking at that. Do we see? I mean, I know Johnson's a little nicked up right now. Or is that still? Do you still have John V. Johnson in your plans, Mickey, Rob? Is he still? Or now all of a sudden do you have to talk about Devin Smith and now talk about also Cedric Wilson?
Yes.
So I mean, are the two guys that were clear? Well, depending on how it's coming out of OTAs, how you looked at it, the two guys that were the OTA darlings are now, have they fallen behind what we've seen with Devin Smith? Devin Smith yesterday looked like to me I see why he was drafted in the second round.
Absolutely.
I see why. I get it now. Maybe, and the fact that his health wasn't good, that probably a big factor, but he's making some plays out here, guys. He really is making plays. So my question is, have the OTA darlings taken a back seat? And again, this is coming off Periscope to the guys we've seen now make plays.
I don't know if it's a back seat, but I think there's higher level of competition right now. And now
you think it's for one spot?
Potentially.
I've got Tavon Austin at 5.
It depends on Noah Brown.
Yeah, I think they keep Noah Brown, though.
And they haven't rushed him back.
Yeah.
And he's ready. When they get back to the Star, he'll be ready to practice. The way I've seen him running out here.
Yeah.
And he's finally standing with the guys going through the walkthrough, which he hadn't been doing before. He had a jersey on. So I think he's getting close. So I think all that depends on what they think of him. So I think there's, depending on him or Tavon, there's 1 to 2 spots open unless they go really long. But I think the other 2 guys that we've been actually the 3 guys, Reggie Davis, we were thinking it was a 3-man race.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 5-man race now.
Right.
Because they really like what Devin Smith did in that preseason game. He should have had 2 touchdown passes.
Right.
If Rush had thrown the ball the way he should have, because he had good protection on the deep one, and the fact that he missed him wide open across the back of the end zone.
Oh,
and then he
Mike
missed
White.
White. I said,
Yeah,
what did
yeah.
I say?
Rush.
Yeah,
Late.
sorry.
Yeah.
Mike White. Yeah. And then he missed Darius Jackson underneath.
Right.
It's 4th down,
Yeah.
right? So the fear of throwing underneath on 1st, 2nd, or 3rd down is you don't have a timeout left, and
Right.
you might burn the clock. But on 4th down, if he's open and he's that wide open, then throw it underneath. I mean, I saw Troy Aikman do it in the game to Jay Novacek, and the ball came up like 2 feet short of the goal line.
Cleveland?
I believe it was, and they lost the game.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what's Troy doing? Well, the guy was wide open underneath, and they came up and made a really good tackle.
Bill Belichick and company, Nick Saban,
So,
DC there.
so
that day.
I think those guys are in the conversation right now.
Brian, you said you got Tavon at 5?
Well, he's thinking Noah's on.
I'm thinking Noah's on.
Okay.
I'm thinking Noah's on at 4, And I'm just going. That's not me. I'm telling you what I think they're going to do.
Yeah. So it might be one spot. I mean, this team has kept 7 receivers before, but it's not easy to do.
Well,
so
it's a matter of who can return punts.
Yeah.
And you noticed in the second half, Cedric Wilson was back there returning punts, and then yesterday Jordan Lewis was actually fielding a couple, and we really hadn't seen much of that. So I think it's turning in their heads, well, if we don't have Reggie Davis or Tavon, somebody else has got to return. Somebody we trust catching the ball.
Okay, let's play this little game. Gosh, I know you're going to hate this, Mickey.
I'll let you know.
Okay, of all those guys, of the 5 guys we talked about, who would you hate to lose the most? Of the 5.
Can I see your roster real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Of the 5
guys that Mickey put out there, Mickey, and we were all thinking maybe it was a 2 or 3 man race. It's now a 5-man race. Who would you feel the absolute worst about losing if they had to put one of those guys out?
John Bay Johnson.
I think it's too early to ask that question.
I think for me it's John Bay Johnson. I think he's got the most.
It's too early.
I knew you were going to come up with it.
I'll answer the question. He's got the most natural, to me, the most natural physical ability out there. Like, to me, I look at a guy that's got a potential to maybe even be a starter in this league, just based off of ability. Now he's got to be able to finish plays, but I love the guy's makeup. I love his pedigree. His dad played in the league. I don't think it's too big for him, even though he's had some drops.
It has been too big for him. Don't you think?
I don't know if
he does it because he's going with him, and I appreciate his.
I don't think it's because he also made a lot of plays too, and he made some plays in the game.
This happens in meetings all the time. There will be one guy tremendously passionate about a player and in potential,
and then there'll be coming in with the bucket of water.
And then but that's what you do. That's what you do, and it makes you know what. You did the right thing by not going off on him, but it makes you think. Like, okay, I've got to really dig in. I've got to really dig in why I think this guy needs to be on this football team.
Yeah.
Because I would fight you thinking like, okay, what does Devin Smith look like to me? Or what does Cedric Wilson look like to me? You know, those are the kinds of I'm thinking of, okay, here are guys that I know they have this talent. And not to say that John Bay Johnson doesn't have everything you said, but I'm thinking like, okay, what have I seen? And now all of a sudden Mickey throws in there, okay, guys, let me ask you this. What has he done when we've thrown him onto the big stage?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden now you have to think, okay, how about all those practices, Mickey? How about all, that now the arguments really start. And that's where it's tough because you got 6 tags on that board tilted that you're going to have to get rid of one of those guys.
Yeah.
And so you rank them and you're thinking, okay, who do you feel the guy who they feel the absolute worst about losing is going to make this team. That's how this is going to work.
Because I don't know. I mean, you're looking at diamonds in the rough, right?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
now you got to ask yourself, if I lose this guy, is there another guy coming around next year?
Right. Yeah.
Or is this guy so special? Or every one of them, besides Wilson and Devin Smith, fell through the draft. Right?
Exactly.
Can everybody be wrong? Now, sometimes they are, right? Because I think they're wrong on Gifford. Because I think you can pencil in him. He's going to make this team.
Okay.
He is going to make it. Even injured.
Jerry Jones mentioned him.
Yes,
Nebraska linebacker.
But he also mentioned John Bay Johnson.
Yep.
Okay, are you willing to fight in that case? Are you willing to fight for Chris Covington? Are you stand up on the table for Chris Covington?
I haven't seen enough from him to say I would rather him than Gifford.
Yeah, but you've seen enough of Gifford.
I've seen enough of Gifford.
Okay.
He's on this team.
I think I agree with him on that. And Mickey makes a good point. Like, coaches love consistency, and you can argue there's been other receivers in this 5 we're talking about that have been more consistent.
Yeah.
But it's also about upside.
I'll give you a great example, too, if I could. Go ahead, Rob.
It's a combination of both. You got to go off of what your eyes have told you from day 1 through 15 or whatever many practices they've had out here. But then you have to balance with what do we think this guy can be if we can just get him to this point.
I heard a coach one time in a meeting say this about 2 players. Coach said this, Julius Jones is just as good as Steven Jackson, the running backs.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the argument. That's like, okay, we don't need to pick Steven Jackson right. If we lose Steven Jackson, we're okay because we're going to get Julius Jones.
2004 draft.
That is an argument that was happening in a war room. That Maurice Cawthon, the running backs coach, said, at my evaluation, Julius Jones is better than Steven Jackson. Everybody was trying to justify not losing Steven Jackson. And when Parcells heard that, then everything swayed. Now there's your okay. You get Julius Jones was a nice player. Steven Jackson ended up with 12, 13, 14,000 yards rushing. Had a long career.
A lot of Pro Bowls.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the argument that you have. That's why when they ask, they say, "Who do you feel the worst about losing?" Then somebody will argue, "Well, this guy's just as good." So if you lose John V. Johnson, Mickey will tell you, well, wait a minute. I think that Devin Smith will be just as good. I think that Jalen Guyton will be just as good. That's the problem that you deal with when you're trying to cut your team, especially at these spots.
But what you have to calculate is if I try to get him on the practice squad, can I do it? And Jason talked a little bit about it yesterday, right? You got to decide, can I get him? And if you lose him, then you say, okay, all right, well, fine. Or are you sitting there pulling your hair out because you took the shot?
That's the thing. If that's the problem you run into is because you're sitting there thinking, if you're sick about losing a guy, but you can't keep them all. You can't keep them all.
Matt Moore.
Matt Moore's the best example. 10 years ago or so?
Yeah. They thought they'd get him on the practice squad, and they couldn't. And now the guy.
Other teams are watching your tape too.
Especially that last preseason game, which back then he had a great finale. Yeah. And okay, I'll ask it in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Out of that group, who's the best that you've seen perform out here? Who'd be number one on your list?
In practice or in games?
Both. Whole thing.
Whole package.
Oh, I think we've seen more from John Vay, but these two guys are coming on now because they're getting more opportunities.
No question.
I'm not sure anybody knew Devin Smith was on this team during OTAs.
Not me.
Right?
I'm a failed scout
and
here. I didn't see that.
The only reason I knew it was because I was told about his speed and that he looks like he's running now the way he did coming out of Ohio State. And remember, I said Ohio State, right?
Oh, no.
He played at a pretty high level.
It's like a 37th pick.
Second-round pick. So if he's running as well, he's got something. And we never got to see Cedric Wilson last year. Right?
This is now a good point. This is, to me, if you ask me complete package of practice and games, this is where I'll fight for Cedric Wilson.
I don't argue with you on that.
This is where I'll fight for Cedric Wilson.
Because the downside is he's wearing dark glasses because he's in concussion protocol.
There is
the only guy out in practice with sunglasses on, but that's
you and I wear them on the sidelines.
Yeah, but I mean on the field.
T-Law wears them.
I don't have a jersey.
Yeah. He's not practicing either.
So, He's again, it's a different type of slot receiver, right? He's a little bigger, but he's got speed, and he seems to get open on a consistent basis. And he's not afraid, obviously, to go over the middle. Now, I don't know if that changes after he got jacked up on that pass that shouldn't have been thrown.
Yep.
But,
that guy threw another one yesterday.
We have to see. I mean, we have to see. There's 3 more preseason games to go. Lance Lenore was all Frisco, right?
Yeah.
Or Valley Ranch, wherever he first started.
Yep, I agree.
And then the lights came on, and no, he shrunk.
Yeah.
To the point where they waived him injured, and and he reverts back to the injured reserve list because he cleared waivers.
Is there another position that we're going to be talking about that's similar to what we're doing with wide receiver?
Yeah, defensive line.
We talked about linebacker too, though, right? Or is that just clear cut?
I think
that's over. You calling that? You're waving it off?
Well, it depends how many they're going to keep.
7?
Well, they could
6.
So then you would have Covington.
We got a roster of 62
and March.
Say it again.
Those would be the 3 guys: Covington, March, and Gifford. And I got this feeling Gifford's on this team.
Mickey has a gut feeling. Book it. Go ahead and book it.
Defensive line is still fascinating to me because we were talking about it just sitting out of practice today or yesterday. there's guys that are showing up that you kind of know aren't going to make it because there's just not enough room at the end. But like the second team defensive line yesterday was all rookies.
Yeah.
It was Jelks, Wise, Walker, and Joe Jackson.
Yeah.
And that's not even counting Tristan Hill, who was getting first-team reps with Malik taking a rest day. So, I mean, they have a lot of decisions to make up front there.
And don't go to sleep on Christian.
Yeah. Christian Covington.
Christian Covington, who's gotten some first-team reps on the nickel, right?
And he did, as a pass rusher.
Yeah.
See, this is where –
and he did have, I think, 4 tackles in that game, by the way.
Okay. Another question for Mickey that he's going to say it's too early.
Well, it is too early.
Okay, but if it's too early for – what position of those as we're looking at our team, the linebackers, the defensive ends, and the wide receivers, which one is going to have the most difficult cuts?
It's still the defensive line.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering that question, Mickey.
I agree.
Do you?
Because it's 16 guys, and a vast majority of them are good enough to make an NFL team.
So the likelihood you put defensive or offensive linemen out there, they get claimed, right?
Yeah. Especially offensive linemen.
Yeah. So all of a sudden now you're looking at these guys and you're saying, okay, if we mess around here and keep an extra wide receiver, that means we might have to put an extra linebacker.
Okay, so let's do it this way.
Mm-hmm.
Kerry Hyder.
I talked to Rod Marinelli about him yesterday. He was really excited about him.
Good player.
And in a way that I didn't think he would be that
Joe
way.
Jackson.
He's excited about Joe Jackson.
And the head owner keeps bringing his name
the
up,
owner, general
right?
manager. Yeah, that's usually a pretty good sign.
Robert Quinn's in.
Yeah.
Then you got Daniel Wise, Shakir Soto, and Ricky Walker, who two of those guys are kind of stepping up.
I'm just telling you put Ricky Walker out on the street from Virginia Tech, someone's going to go back and look at their college scouting report and say, man, maybe we were wrong about that.
Okay. But you look at the numbers right now and you're like, how do you do it?
Oh, no, I know. Give Will McClay and that group a lot of credit.
Let me finish. Jalen Jelks.
See, to
a
me,
lot of talent.
That's practice squad. That is so practice squad right there.
Tristan Hill makes it.
Makes it.
Lawrence Armstrong makes it.
Yeah.
Daniel Ross, better be careful.
I think Daniel Ross has got one foot in the parking lot myself.
Christian Covington, I think he's impressing.
Yep.
Then you got Malik Collins, Charlton, Crawford, and Woods. So that's 10.
It's really
and
good.
You could really keep 12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I think they keep 10.
So you just named 12 out of 16 that you think are good enough to make this football team.
Yeah.
That's
the guy. I mean, you got to hope, but you got to just know this. You put guys like Walker out there, he's going to be gone because people will go back. He played well enough in that San Francisco game. He's probably going to play well against the Rams and their backup offensive lineman. He's going to show again, and then he's going to get to play the whole game against Tampa at the end of the year. Or the end of the preseason, and then he'll probably show up at that, and it's going to be, well, can we let him go? And it's like, no, we can't. And then now we have to figure out, okay, who else are you going to let go? What veteran guy? I'll tell you another position to keep an eye on is safety. I don't think that Kayvon Frazier's safe here. I don't think Kayvon Frazier's safe.
And who's taking his spot?
I think the young man from Texas A&M.
Oh, Wilson.
Donovan Wilson.
Absolutely.
I think they love Thompson. They rave about Thompson. Oh, he's so smart. He could do this. He could do this. Darian Thompson. They rave about him.
Yep.
But I think that if you talk about a veteran that might be in trouble, maybe veterans are in trouble at wide receiver. Tavon Austin. Maybe he's in trouble. Maybe he is. Maybe he's not. Chris Covington, linebacker. Maybe he's in trouble. Maybe he's not.
Well, if you look at the defensive backs, I'll give you if you're including Thompson.
Yes.
Okay, as the givens.
Right.
Thompson, count them up. Awuzie, Woods, Jordan Lewis, Anthony Brown, Byron Jones. How many we got already?
Is that 5?
You guys were supposed to count. 1, 2,
I thought you were not. Okay.
3,
I'm sorry.
4,
I looked over at you. You had
that's 6.
6. Okay.
Okay.
God, sorry
and then
journalism.
And then Jeff Heath.
7.
So that's 7.
All
so
right.
now you got maybe 3 spots.
Yeah. Why not?
For Donovan Wilson.
Yep.
Mike Jackson Sr.
Yep.
And then Goodwin.
Alumba.
Okay, and I'll throw Lumba in there. So, there's 4 to fit into 3.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about what they think of C.J. Goodwin, good special teams player.
Yeah, see, they'll tell you that. And then, Mickey, you made up a great point that if I was in a draft room arguing, I would say, why do we have all these special teams guys? We punt, we kick the ball out of the end zone, we punt to the sidelines.
And I did include Frazier in that group.
That's what I said yesterday.
Yeah.
How many specialty guys can you keep?
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you're keeping one at wide receiver that hadn't practiced the whole year.
Right. If that's what you want to call him. And that's that's his primary role. He's been a blocker. He can catch an occasional pass out for you. But, yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to make Mickey's point, but I'm just saying he's not.
Sure you are.
Yeah.
Okay, do you think there's going to be 3 guys on this roster that we're going to go, what? Do you think? Or do you think we got that thing covered with what we just did?
Well, I think the what's would be if Gifford makes it injured.
McGovern's
going to make it injured. And, you know, at this point, if you have to shave, you're going to go, I don't know if it's
by
short.
Mike White, yeah.
Yeah, you're going to go 2 quarterbacks. And then the offensive line after 8, I don't see where 9 and 10 is.
Could you go 8?
You could, but you don't want to, especially with Zach's situation.
Is McGovern your 8th lineman?
He's 9.
He's 9. Okay.
I think you have to cover yourself with Suafilo.
Okay.
Just because
Suafilo, Redmond, Looney?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
So that's your 8.
That's
you
8.
Get 5 with the 8. With the 3 is 8. And McGovern is 9.
Yeah. I think that's
And then I'm not sure you got 10. Who's the next guy?
I would rather keep an extra defensive lineman than I would an extra offensive lineman.
Maybe you can get away with that.
Yeah.
Those guys will go to the practice squad.
Because you've got – you mentioned Looney, and there's some flex there, so maybe you can get away with going with one extra lineman.
How many weeks?
Rob just told me, though, if I put offensive linemen out there, they get claimed.
We have 2.5 more weeks of practice.
Yeah.
It's fun, Mick.
Somebody else is going to get hurt. These things clear themselves up.
They absolutely do. All right, let's take our final break. When we come back, I have my own questions for you guys.
Please do.
As we wrap up the Oxnard portion of camp on this show. Next.
If you're like me and you love... if you have a thing, then cutting the cord is scary. But then I found out I could switch to DirecTV Now and still get the live sports I love. No satellite needed, no bulky hardware, no annual contract, just...
Get the live sports you love. Try DirecTV Now for $10 a month for 3 months. Visit DirecTVNow.com. DirecTV Now. More for your thing. That's our thing. Use code REALDEAL. Limited time. Price for a little package. After 3 months, renews monthly at full price. Currently minimum $40 unless canceled. Prices may change. New subscribers only. Cancel anytime. Content varies by package and may be limited. Restrictions apply.
It's time for tailgating with the OtterBox boys.
The OtterBox that builds those crazy protective phone cases?
Yup, and now they're changing the side dish game with the OtterBox Trooper Soft Cooler. Lightweight, mobile, and leak-proof, Trooper is perfect for blitzing a crowded parking lot with a Frito pie.
Amazing. Hey, you think I could fit my 7-layer salmon salad into the Trooper cooler?
Yup, but please don't.
And that's been Tailgating with the OtterBox boys. Learn more about the Trooper soft coolers at otterbox.com.
While a player could look good on paper, it's when he's out on the field that you really find out what he's made of. That's why the Cowboys rely on more than just stats and scouting reports when building their team. When picking a tractor, it's why you should rely on more than just specs and features. You've got to take it out and put it to the test. The Cowboys did when they named John Deere their official tractor. Experience one for yourself. Visit myjohndeeredealer.com/football.
It can be hard to find the right resource for learning about important financial matters. You search how to build savings, you end up reading about the one weird ingredient from supermarkets that can make you taller. That's why Bank of America built BetterMoneyHabits.com, a safe little corner of the internet for answering your financial questions. Full of simple videos and tips, Better Money Habits can show you how to make the most of your money without resorting to random searches that always seem to lead to unbelievable photos of childhood stars grown up. To learn more, visit BetterMoneyHabits.com.
Essilor has been helping Cowboys fans see better since 1972 so they don't miss a moment on the field. Get glasses with Essilor's best vision, clarity, and protection with the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package. 3 innovative technologies in one lens. For a limited time, you can double your lenses for free when you purchase the Essilor Ultimate Lens Package and get a second pair of frames. Find a participating eye care professional and details by visiting EssilorUSA.com. That's EssilorUSA.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Back to Talkin' Cowboys.
Check. Oh, you gotta have a microphone.
Party foul.
Check this out. Yep. Jack Black is introducing Black Reserve. Whoa. Now, what do you think that is?
It's got to be something special.
It's a limited edition fragrance collection created exclusive for the Jack Black man, just like you. Deeply masculine notes of carnardon and red cedar.
No, what are we doing?
Relaxing scent of lavender and distinctive aroma of coriander and patchouli.
Patchouli. Ooh, I like patchouli.
Available in 33-ounce body and hair cleanser and 3.4-ounce body spray. Shop now on jackblack.com. Black Reserve.
I'll tell you what, Mickey, if they don't have bottles of that waiting for you there to give to us, I'll be really disappointed.
What do you think carnardon is?
It's got to be something good.
I've never
Jack
heard
Black
of it.
puts all good stuff.
That looks really upscale, fancy, good stuff, man. I'm in.
Look at this.
The bottle? Yeah. It's like a wine bottle. I'm in for that, Mickey.
Black Reserve.
Mickey,
we might have to try that.
Mickey, get us some of that, please.
Let's see what we can do.
All right, a couple other things from Jerry yesterday. Not concerned about Amari's injury. As you said, I mean, they think if he had to practice, he could practice right now.
He's getting close. What they don't want to do is send him out there, and then he's got to come back to him.
Yeah.
They want it totally taken care of, healed, and it's basically rest right now.
There we go.
The other guys, we mentioned that Jerry – you mentioned a couple that Jerry has caught Jerry's eye. John V. Johnson, Luke Gifford, Dorrance Armstrong, Tristan Hill, and Tony,
some guy named Tony Pollard.
Tony Pollard.
Keep those young guys coming.
Yeah.
Keep the young guys. Yeah. Keep them rolling.
Some draft picks in there, some undrafted guys in there.
That's good. Got to credit to how Chris Hall and those guys post draft able to go out there and round up the college free agents post-draft because they got some kids that got shots making this team right now.
All right. I got some categories for you.
Mm-hmm.
I know – look, you're right. 2.5 weeks of practice left.
3 preseason games?
Yeah, but
those two come real fast. The last two come real fast.
But we segment this, right? We're in Oxnard right now, and we're about to not be. So –
But we still got a week of training camp. Actually, a week and a half, right?
Rob, I'm with you on this game.
But go ahead.
Man.
What do you got?
I'll put my name on it.
Give me the best player you've seen on offense here in Oxnard, California.
Oh, wow.
Best player on offense.
Okay, skill guy, Rob, or
anybody.
Anybody?
Lineman, whatever.
The quarterback.
Why?
I just think he's had a really good camp, and I like the way he's driving the football.
Yeah.
When he wants to throw it down the seam, his footwork is really good, and he's really getting his legs into the throw. And that's what he's got to concentrate on consistently, driving the football, and you drive the football with your legs, not your arm.
Tyron Smith.
Yeah.
I just feel like that Tyron Smith, if the good Lord allows him to stay healthy the entire year, he's back to that level. I'm starting to you see the power, you see the mobility, the agility, the nastiness in which he plays. It doesn't matter. They've tried to throw young guy, old guy. Robert Quinn is a quality rusher. He beat Robert Quinn up. Robert Quinn, I think, has the utmost respect for him now going against him every day. But they've thrown a lot at Tyron Smith, and they've given him some veteran days, hopefully to kind of get him. Just don't need him in week 6 to wake up and feel miserable with the back, because he is of the top 3 type players. He's either 1 or 2 for me right now.
These guys are going to start having Tyron Smith flu.
Yeah.
I'm not the next one in line.
Oh, no. Tristan Hill said, I interviewed Tristan Hill, and I said, what are you excited about? It's a terrible question, but what are you excited about the 49er game? He says, I don't have to go against Tyron Smith anymore. That's how he thinks.
I'm with you on Tyron.
Yeah.
I'll Gallup, honorable mention.
Gallup that's a very good get. Yeah, good get.
Breakout player of the year.
No question.
Although he kind of broke out the second half last year.
Yeah, he did.
But he's doing better. It's not just everything's not just totally vertical now with him.
Right.
There's stuff that you see inside and out.
He's running routes.
Smooth routes.
Catches the ball.
Every time.
That ball he caught in the back of the end zone yesterday. I don't know how he caught it because I thought it was going to be intercepted, so he couldn't have seen it into his hands.
Jason Witten had one too yesterday.
And
it was pretty good.
Behind his back, over his head.
Witten just threw his right hand up in the air and it went into his hand. That's guys that can catch the ball do that kind of stuff.
It's goat things.
Actually, he's been pretty good.
He's been very good.
I think a lot of people, if they were out here with us every single day, would be shocked at how well he's practicing.
Now, I think a lot of the valuation then will come down to, can he block the way he used to when he was younger?
They ran a couple of plays yesterday where he does enough now to where that ball gets the touchdown. The touchdown that they had where they pulled Suafilo and
was it Pollard?
Yeah, Pollard ran in untouched.
Yeah.
That's a cave down. That's a cave from Looney, a cave from Collins, a cave from Witten.
Yeah.
Boom. They secure the edge. They get the guys on the outside. Ball up inside.
And from your tight end, you're not looking for pancakes. You're looking for a guy just to shield him off. Shield him off.
Right.
You don't have to put somebody on the ground. And that's one of the things those young guys still, I think they have to improve.
Right.
Jarwin and Schultz.
For sure.
Schultz got better towards the end of the year. Now they're both banged up, but you need them back because if you saw what they were doing, they started putting Looney out there and the two tight end. Because those guys they just got, I'm sure McElroy's not who's ever asked him to block, and Marcus.
But let me tell you
Marcus Luce, he's not a blocker.
Let me tell you what, is there a player that's grown more since OTAs to where we are today than Cody McElroy?
Oh,
that was my other category.
Cody McElroy has made himself a legitimate practice squad player.
He caught that pass and ran yesterday, and I think I walked by Todd and very sarcastically said, "Yeah, that guy reminds me of Rico."
He's Rico 2.0.
He's
much better.
He's
much better.
Not even in the same class.
I'll take Ricky Walker in that category.
Oh, the
most improved guy. And that's on the mailbag right now. Actually, who you got?
But that guy, they have him playing defensive end.
Ricky.
Yes.
They'll kick him inside. Marinelli knows.
They got him playing all over.
They're just Marinelli's going to put these guys in position to shine. He will. The Rams game, you'll see him play more of a natural position.
So now Ricky Walker is the flavor, not Daniel Wise.
They're both been good, but I
Wise
noticed
played the game well the other day.
I noticed Daniel Wise more in the offseason than I did Ricky Walker.
Dan Walker.
Yeah.
I didn't
power.
know.
Ricky Walker's got.
I started
power.
memorizing numbers to do the blue-white, and I was like, I don't need to worry about those two.
I mean, he's had 3 sacks in the last 2 days.
I know.
Would-be sacks.
But who's he going up against?
I don't care. He showed up in the other game.
He's going up against a bunch of guys that aren't even going to make the practice squad. So he better do it in the games.
Fair enough. All right, defense. Best player you've seen defensively, quickly.
Best player defensively.
That's not quickly.
Xavier Woods.
Xavier Woods?
Xavier Woods or either him or –
I was going Van Der Esch.
I'd go the corner.
Cheeto?
Cheeto's been awfully good.
Cheeto.
I'll go Malik Collins. All those guys have been really good.
I don't think we should have picked 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong about Malik Collins. Because that one. But I was thinking about who
dominant out
who have
there.
I seen knock down ball? Yeah, the linemen were grateful he wasn't practicing yesterday.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, day off, thank you.
All right, last one. Biggest question you've got as they continue camp in preseason. What are you still uncertain about the most?
The kicker.
Kicker.
And only because there's I don't think there's any alternatives out there.
I think they're getting ready to have a big workout.
But, and that's fine to bring them in.
Probably right.
But if those guys are out there at this point, how good they can be when the Vikings had to use a 5th-round pick to trade for one.
No question.
Because they're still worried about Dan Bailey.
Yeah.
And so if you got to trade for one on another team, you would rather bring in a free agent, right?
Well, Casey Redfern kicked yesterday. We'll see if Brett Maher kicks today.
Yes.
Redford went 6 of 6 finally.
No, he had a miss.
4 of 6.
No,
right?
4 of 6.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's done.
Okay. Bye.
If we had to cut to 75, he's gone.
Bye.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Cut us to 75.
That's right.
No, we're going to increase to 4 when we get back to the Star.
Yeah. Back on
Monday?
Yeah.
We'll be back
Bill
home
Jones.
next time we talk to you guys.
He'll be all refreshed and ready to go, and we won't know what time zone we're on.
Bill will take over the pilot seat. Thank you guys so much for joining us out here. Thanks to Caden for getting us on the air every day, and William. Really appreciate it, and enjoy the preseason game.
Thanks for the sandblaster out there too, by the way.
We've loved the sandblaster. We've loved everything
it's
about it.
It's like one more day they kick you in the butt, right? And say, okay,
it's fine.
Take this with you.
I don't even notice it anymore now. It's all good.
Drop an F-bomb on him, Mickey. That's the way to end the show.
Yeah, whoa.
My mom told me I need not to do that anymore, by the way.
It was fine. You didn't actually do the other 3 letters.
Still being scolded by his mama.
Thank you guys so much.
Mom, I love you.
We'll talk to you Monday on Talkin' Cowboys. The break is next.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys? Yeah!